Hi,
Naabutan mo ba?
how are you doing?
Ang ganda.
I'm not so sure how I'm gonna react. But it's a very, very big topic and very diverse with multitude of animals in zoo. Is it open zoo? Is it closed zoo? It is, I don't know. So I was told to tell to try to reflect a little bit, and as we are running a bit late, so I will make it very quick. So before that, I also was told to tell you a little bit about what we do. So I'm from Change Fusion. It's a fairly small organization in Thailand, and we try to support and promote social enterprises, especially early stage social enterprises in Thailand. And in doing so, we try to grow them, but in Thailand, this whole social investment thing is very new. It doesn't really exist that much. So we also have to grow the social investors pool as well. And social investors are very different animals, anything from philanthropists to a very money-hungry people that want to do good. But we all exist in the same planet, so we can find what he just called the joint value creation. Yes. So I think like my reflections, and before that, we also work a little bit with different people in the region, especially in Southeast Asia. We work with Oxfam to try to create the regional mentorship pool that can help facilitate mentors and people that can support with capacity or market linkages with the smallholders group or the projects Oxfams are currently engaging in the region. So that's what we are doing. On to the reflections, I think I can take maybe like three main things from this. First, there's a clear opportunity and very, very big opportunities to connect all this together. We hear different case about big business in Korea trying to use its own resource and network and capacity to actually create its own social enterprise in partnership with multiple partners and existing social enterprise and even business school, which is a big thing. We heard about how a social enterprise working to kind of reinvent or reimagine the whole supply chain and value chain on cacao, right? In Korea, cacao would mean a completely different thing. It's a very popular chat applications. Oh, in Philippines too, right? Yeah. So they kind of. So cacao, and it's just one of the commodities, right, that have gigantic supply chains, and you really have to work holistically. In order to address the poor farmers, you really have to work throughout the value chains, from input to production to distribution to global distribution and more. And you and work with finance and capacity and market and guarantees everything. So I think that's another big thing. We heard from Shuja from Singapore about this whole different worlds of social investment, from socially responsible investment all the way to impact investment to venture philanthropy and so on. And then and we now have some emerging cases on how all these different social investments groups kind of converge to support social enterprises that we hear about. Then the Oxfam innovation and the zoo, which we just heard. So for me, it's really, really big opportunities for the work we are doing to link this all up, whether we talk about the market, the investment, and the capacity. And I think the best way to think is that, with Oxfam and partners and, social enterprise, we are talking since yesterday that we are trying to help and support the, poorer population or the people who are really in need. So it's pretty much about how to bring together all these different phases and different parts together to make that work. And for me, I think like maybe the analogy of the zoo maybe is not even enough. If you really look at the topic that covered even just this morning, I felt I'm in Star Wars or Star Trek or something. You know, suddenly you hear about some humans there, some Klingon, and some strange beings, Jar Jar Bing, and you know, everyone with a different nature, right? But everyone trying to identify some synergy point, you know, something they can really work on together, that bring in the capacity and so, you know, basically this is a kind of confederations of aliens. We have, not in a nice way, you know, we have socialist kind of thing yesterday, and we also have a hyper capitalistic parts that are all kind of trying to be responsible and deliver impact. The second thing I took from this discussion this morning is that to make this connection and to create a united world of nice aliens to deliver impact, you know, as you mentioned, it doesn't matter what model as long as we deliver impact. To do this is very difficult. It's not easy, and you need to, if you need to reinvent the whole supply chain. You need to have deep insights and everything, you know. And I think the biggest point is that you can't just connect them. You know, I think that when we talk about, you know, the topic of this morning actually was about opportunities and strategies for social enterprise sector to engage business sector in capital markets. I think a lot of talks and meetings have this assumption where, you know, there's a great thing here and a great thing there. If we just connect them, you know, and, you know, have some conversation and then things would happen, which is true, things tend to happen, but from all these cases, you can see that, you know, they are all professional organizations exist to connect these worlds, right, different bits and pieces of the worlds, or different markets. With different people. So I think that there clearly is a need to invest or to put more energy in creating this kind of conversation and also works that to connect all these things and make it work. I think, so which brings me to the last point of reflection is that you know, since, you know, there's a big opportunity to connect all these different worlds together, and it's not easy to make it happen, and so you can't really just connect them. So there's a clear need of these kind of animals. I mean, in a good way, in a sense that it's a special group of people that are trying to connect these different worlds, right? And you can call them joint value creation innovators. You know, this morning you were hearing about social entrepreneurs from the corporate sector, or you are the value chain innovators, but basically people who work in the intersection of the worlds, right? Intersection of different sectors. And I think we need more of that to create collective impact. And actually I was just reading a little bit on this collective impact work a few days ago, and it's quite interesting. At Stanford, there were some, you know, this magazine called Stanford Social Innovation Review, and there's an article on collective impact research, and they found that the four main things. So they study all this collective impact work, which means bringing those kind of work that bring multiple stakeholders, multiple sectors work to create common impact, whether it's on anti-corruption, social investment, or environmental project. They found that there's 5 main things that are needed as conditions to make it work. The first is a common agenda. That how do we create a common agenda among different animals and different alien species. The second thing is how do we create shared measurement, so that we all can see how the future would look like, what kind of things we all agree, even we are made of different genetic material or something, but we agree on certain way of measurement and the goals. And this seems to kind of cut across all the discussion this morning, that measure something that are tangible and we all are happy with. The third one is mutually reinforcing activities. How do we design the partnership or the network in such a way that everyone do their own Klingon thing or their own universe work, but there's a part of the work that are mutually reinforcing or are the synergy point between these different intersection and sectors. And then the fourth thing is continuous communication. So how to turn from just communications to conversations all the way to actually partnership. And the last thing that the research try very hard to emphasize is the backbone support. You know, these conversations and discussions and partnership don't just happen, right? You need people and you need resources to support and to make it work. So you need to think a little bit through on if you really want to leverage capital market and corporate sectors, and we really need a backbone work together somehow. So I think that's my main reflections. So I think the most important thing again is how do we emphasize the need to have this kind of multi-world discussion and see how to put more resources in making it happen. And we should know that it's not easy and we really need to work together on this. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Sunit. Well, we've had 5 very stimulating inputs from our speakers. No? We have time for a few questions from the floor. I'm sure a lot of you have been stimulated by the discussions from our speakers. But right now, we'd like to conduct the question and answer forum while we're having the break. So it will be a working break. So please feel